Well, hey everybody, this is Eric over at American Business Systems. Want to welcome you to the Wednesday webinar of this week. We're going to be talking about unlocking the secrets to business success here, specifically in healthcare. You can see healthcare excellence and innovation. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and specifically in the whole sphere in the world of medical billing. So thank you for joining me this afternoon. Looking forward to spending the next hour with you. So we're going to wait just a little bit for some folks to keep showing up here on this Wednesday afternoon. I started just a tad early, so I know that there's a few folks that are still coming on here. We've got Bill and Connie, Stephanie. Good to see you guys here this afternoon. Eric looked like he just came on in. So we've got some more folks that I can see that are just going to start trickling in as we get the day started. So again, my name is Eric Auger. I'll be your host this afternoon. We're going to be talking about the 5 secrets of success here at American Business Systems. I kind of retitled it "Unlocking the Success to Business Success," or "Unlocking the Secrets to Business Success." So hopefully you'll be ready to enjoy the webinar this afternoon. So we'll be taking you on a tour of what we consider to be the most important secrets to getting kind of some things started. And then I've got a little extra on the back end. Adam Phillips wrote an article that is posted in the blog part of our website. I'll show you where you can find that. And I'm going to go over just a few of those points that he brought out in that article that you're going to want to go back and get and read. So again, unlocking the secrets to business success here at American Business Systems. So here we go. My name is Eric Auger, as I mentioned earlier. I am the Director of Learning and Engagement here, which means I help build and collect information and topics for our Wednesday webinars every single week. I've been doing this with American Business Systems for a little over 17 years, folks, if you can believe that. Even from this picture shot, you can see that my beard has gotten a little bit wider since the last time I had a headshot, so it might be time to get a new one here. So, but I will do that after the first of the year. Hey, folks, I want to if you don't mind, just go find the Q&A box and just tell me where you're located. You don't have to put your name or anything else there. That'll show up there, but just tell me where you're located. That's helpful. And it also lets you know where you can ask questions. So today, as we go through the webinar, I'll simply ask you to ask me some questions as we kind of go through. Eric's from Atlanta, so thank you. I appreciate that. At least I know I'm being heard, so that at least got one person there. Hopefully Stan and Stephanie and Connie, Bill from Southwest Florida. Good to see you. Ann Arbor, Michigan is Connie. Thank you for sharing that. Stan is out of Dallas, Texas. Stan, we hopefully going to get some rain here. We're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area with you. So we're looking forward to hopefully getting finally some rain over here in the DFW area. So that's pretty awesome. There's some other folks on here, and I understand if you don't want to pipe in here. It can be, Stephanie says she's from Virginia, so I appreciate it. I hope everybody's ready for next week, folks. Can y'all believe that next week is Thanksgiving? A week from tomorrow? Yeah, a week from tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Now we will have our webinar next Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. We're going to kind of go over a little bit of an overview of American Business Systems and some of the things there that you can look forward to for 2026. So, all right, let me introduce to you our CEO. That's Adam Phillips. Some of you may be talking to Adam. Some of you maybe have met Adam. Maybe talk to him on another call or here, or you've at least seen him with some of our webinars. And but he is our CEO. He has written several books, as you can see here. One of them is 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Finger. He is also a contributing author to a magazine called Billing and Coding Advantage Magazine. His latest article that he put out is The Shrinking Private Practice: Why Billing Expertise Can Be a Lifeline for Those Doctors. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. If you want to take a quick snapshot of that, screenshot of that, you certainly may, or you can just wait until afterwards. You can get back with your sales rep that you're working with here. They've got a PDF copy that they would love to send you of that. So you might want to say, hey, send me Adam's latest article from BC Magazine. He is also the founder of an organization called MIRMA. Now, MIRMA is a very important part and arm of American Business Systems because it is the organization that you'll be a part of once you've completed training. And speaking of training, it is this organization that certifies you as a certified medical revenue manager. So these are your credentials that you'll be able to put after your name. You're going to see why that's important as we kind of go through the presentation today. But again, just understand that this is both of these this organization kind of showcases you with a whole bunch of other independent medical billing companies around. So be sure to make sure that you get that part of your credentials. Obviously, throughout the presentation, I want you to take some time to ask me some questions as you go through it. Now, if you want a more in-depth study of the 5 secrets, I'm going to tell you where you go find that. You can go to our website, it's absystems.com, absystems.com, and when you land on the page, up in the right-hand corner, as you can see right there, it says download our 5 secrets to success. So the model in which I'm using today is based upon that PDF documentation. So if you'll just fill out the information on there. You don't have to worry. It's just asking your first and last name and your email address. Believe me, if you're already on here, we already have that contact. You'll just be routed to your sales rep that you're working with here. But that has a lot of information that some of it I won't have time to go over all through to this afternoon, but you're going to want to get some of this information to you. And you can see that first part of it says, number 1, educate to build trust. So you'll recognize that here as one of the title presentation slides that we'll have here this afternoon. So let's get right on in here. Unlocking the secrets to business success. So we're going to talk a little bit about just about everything on this. Everything from, just business itself. What does it mean to be successful? Just having a business, to some of the trade secrets of what we do to help you get your clients, strategizing, strategically positioning you in the market. But you know what? I've shown this slide before. I want to show it again. It's from a trusty old man that some of you may have heard. By the name of Dale Carnegie, and he was a writer, he was a lecturer, very wise businessman. But just his quote here: "People do business with people they know, like, and trust." And certainly you've heard about that, and that's part of what we want to be able to do here. Why we do what we do here at American Business Systems on our weekly webinars. We want you to get to know who we are, know the family here at American Business Systems. You get to meet Adam, his crew there at the office, some of the sales rep that you're working with. We want you to stay in contact with us because we love to be able to just, again, get to know who you are, what some of your strategies are, what you're looking to do. Then hopefully through the presentations that we do on our webinars, the other videos that we have showcase out there, the information that we can send you, that you kind of get to know us and like us as we go through this process. And eventually, it's part of the biggest thing that all human beings need to understand, and that's how do we build trust with one another? Well, we build trust with one another by being consistent, number 1, and that's one of the things that we do here every single week, of being consistent, that we know that you know that you can rely upon us being here all the time. So that's one of those trustworthy things that just kind of helps build that trust, is being there and showing up every single Wednesday at the time that we have here, so that we can build trust with you. But now what we're going to try to do is transfer this know, like, and trust pattern that we've created in helping you get your business up and going. So the first thing is you saw there on that little sheet of paper that I showcased on, one of the things that you're going to get when you download that documentation is the first thing is to educate to build trust. Now, so what we're going to do here is to help you and empower you with all the knowledge that you're going to need in medical billing and revenue cycle management. Now, those are kind of basically saying the same thing. So a lot of you coming in here, you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to become a medical biller, and I can do this medical billing stuff from home. I want to help, raise your horizon up a little bit to more than just becoming just from having a second job. Okay. And if you heard one of the testimonies that we had here just recently, week after last, we interviewed somebody, and one of the things that she said was when her and her husband were looking for a business opportunity, the one thing that they were not looking for was just another job to do at home. What they wanted to do was build an organization and build a business, and that's what we want to help you do. Now, the knowledge of medical billing versus revenue cycle management is basically the same thing, except medical billing can just be that person, just the one that's just, hacking out the codes on a computer to make sure that those claims get submitted. But really what we want you to understand is that you're becoming a revenue cycle management company. Okay. That encompasses a whole lot here. So it's more than just doing medical billing. But the other thing we want you to become is understanding that you're the CEO of your company. You are the chief executive officer of your company. Now, you may be playing all the roles. You may be playing the chief marketing officer and the information officer and all these different officers that you may be playing. But the real main role that you're going to be playing is the executive officer of your company. Now, we're also going to teach you the areas that you'll get to understand and have the expertise in, and many times it's going to be even more than what most physicians even understand. Okay, now you got to understand, doctors go at least 6 to 8 years of school, but one of the things that they just don't teach doctors in that medical school is how to run a medical practice. Now, you would think that they would have a couple of classes on business and just how businesses run. Now, some of the folks that come in here do have somewhat of a business background, which is great whenever physicians have somewhat of a business background. Maybe some of them have an MBA, but the majority of them do not have that expertise. All they know is that they got out of school, they kind of know the format of what they need to do. They need maybe if they're going to go into independent practice, they're going to need to hire staff. So where do they turn to? They turn to experts to say, hey, can you help me find the right people to put in place? Well, one of those people that they think that they need is a biller inside of their office. And typically, again, many practices start off with that. But as time goes on, and as they talk to other doctors, they find out that outsourcing that role is a better position for them because, as I've said so many times, whenever a doctor hires a full-time employee to just do their medical billing, that person's getting paid whether or not the doctors are getting paid. You understand what I'm saying? They're salary based. There's no compensation other than just their salary. There's no performance, positions there. Unlike whenever they outsource that billing to somebody like yourself, listen, you don't get paid unless the doctor gets paid because you get paid after the doctor gets paid. So that's how this whole thing runs, and that's part of building the trust that we're going to help you with. Now, since it's a week before Thanksgiving and I feel like giving a little bit, what I want to do is make sure that everybody has a copy. Now, it's going to be an electronic format, so it's going to be a PDF format of this book. But what I want you to do is when we're through with today's webinar, be sure to ask your sales rep for a PDF copy of the New Thriving Medical Practice. Now, this is about 270 plus pages long. It will give you a ton of information. Now, the reason I want to give that to you is because, number one, you're here today. You've taken out the time. Gosh, it's the week before Thanksgiving, and we just want to give back to you and tell you thank you for being on our webinar today. But we also want you to learn as much as you can, because once you get into this process, you're going to start to learn. We want to educate you even before you've said yes to American Business Systems. So one of the things that you'll learn is that this book here will be part of your marketing strategy as you're trying to build relationships and build trust with doctors. Now, one of the ways that we're going to teach you how to do that is actually how to have these books physically. Now, you won't get just PDFs to give out to doctors. You're actually going to get physical copies of this book. And one of the things that you're going to go through your training is to find certain areas of that book where you can put these little tabs. These little tabs I'm going to show you here on a pen of mine. You've seen these little tabs right here, kind of showing them to you right there. You can just take that little tab off right there, and we're going to show you specific areas in that book to place that tab. It may be on page 24. It may be on page 38. And then we're going to show you exactly on that page where to highlight certain sections of that will help draw the attention so the doctor doesn't feel like they have to read the entire book, but it kind of pinpoints them in some direct areas. Well, what does this do? Well, what you're doing with this is that you're helping to build trust and you're educating that doctor on the things that you and your company will be able to do. Now, one added layer to this, you may not be able to see it too clearly on here, but I will go to the next slide on here, is that your name. Now on here, we just have a fake name in there. It says Susan Smith, but you can see CMRM. Remember what that stands for. That stands for a Certified Medical Revenue Manager. It just so happens that we will actually print your first and last name on the book, including, as you can see here, on the inside cover that you've written the foreword to the book. Now, don't worry about that you're going to have to write an entire foreword. We actually have a foreword that you can use, or if you'd like to change it up a little bit, or just take the guts of it and rewrite it yourself, you just let us know, and we'll work that back into the book. Now, what this is doing, you're going to educate the doctor. They're going to see that you're part of the book. So there's an assumption there that you're part of as one of the authors there, but you are the one that wrote the foreword to the book. And it brings a lot of credibility to you right off the bat. So whenever you're trying to figure out, how's this thing going to work? How am I going to build trust with these doctors? How am I going to build credibility with this? It really is through the new Thriving Medical Practice book. So I want to get a copy of that into your hands. I want to make sure you have at least a PDF of it so that you can get it. If you don't know who your sales rep is, you can just tell me in the Q&A box and I'll make sure you know how to get to that. But this is a very important part of strategy as you're coming along with that. So we want to, and again, there's so much more in that document. I'm going to kind of go back up over here on our website. Remember, I told you to go download that 5 Secrets to Success. And in this document, you can see that there's a lot more write-up than what I'm going over right now. We only have an hour here to kind of go through that. And I've got 5 things I want to go through and a little bit of extra there with what Adam's written here. But what we want you to understand is that I want you to get a copy of this. I want you to kind of read through it, kind of, thumb your way electronically through that PDF as you get it. And that's some of the things that we want to help you do. But go back and get that document so you can read a little bit more about this whole section here, educate to build trust. That's kind of one of the big things here. You'll see, and you'll notice that through 1 through 5 here, I've got these little slides here to kind of remind you that if you've got questions, you can pop them over there in that Q&A box. So if you don't see anything right there, then you know what, I'm just going to move on and we're going to get on over to this next section here. All right, so now we want to show you how to become the expert in getting you to that next position of not just showing that you've got a book there, but you actually can back it up. Now, I'm going to take a little off-road here. I'm going to kind of jump off the highway onto the exit ramp here, and I'll get back on it because I want to help you understand that some of you may be thinking, well, I wonder if there's a way that I can pre-market myself before I actually sign on with American Business Systems and hopefully maybe ever have a doctorate. Now, I can't tell you to do that or not. I can tell you the experience that I've seen with it when people try to go kind of pre-market out there and kind of start to engage with some doctors that they may already know. But the problem about it is that if you start engaging with a doctor and you just don't know what you don't know, that could be a real stumbling block for you from ever rescuing yourself from getting that as a client in the near future. So what I'm trying to say is that and you'll see that there is a risk-free way to learn everything you're going to need to learn and still have an opportunity to learn it and get it and get going. Or you know what, you can say, this is not for me. I want to be able to opt out. And I'm going to show you how to be able to do that here in a moment. But what we're going to do here at ABS, we're going to position you as a recognized expert, supported by not just the marketing material and the team specialist support that we have here, but with the knowledge of what you're going to need to do. You're going to go through at least a 2.5, almost a 3-week training course that's going to take you through 10 modules of education. Now, what we're going to do, we've got this online way of providing an onboarding in a personalized way for you to get through training. with an instructor in real time. Now, I think there are some other business opportunities out there in medical billing, and a lot of their training is done by just videos. That's not how we do that here. We've actually got folks that have been with us, gosh, 10, 15, some of them up to 20 years here with American Business Systems, that has been in the market, been in business, gotten, their certifications through American Business Systems, gotten their clients. These are the people that are going to teach you and train you. They're going to have exercises to help you get that first client. There's going to be a calendar plan. There's going to be things that you're going to need to do to present back to them that you're doing what you're following, their line of expertise. So that's one of the things that we do. So think of it as not just training. You're going to actually have a coach working with you to train you, to help you through these exercises, and actually do the work as you go through those couple of weeks. Because what we would like to see is that within the first 30 to 60 and maybe even 90 days, is that you're engaging with doctors, and if not, signing up a doctor within those time frames. So that's what we're going to be providing with you. That's part of all of your cost here at American Business Systems. But the other thing is that we're going to help our business owners, you as a business owner, have access to other educational webinars and online catalog featuring hundreds of hours of other recorded sessions. Now, so just like today, you were on our live webinar for what we call people who are interested in getting and started in a business. But yet on Fridays, we actually have webinars set aside for only those who are our current business owners. Those Fridays webinars are full of information. We've had just recently some of the experts that are out there showing you how to engage with people, how to get that first appointment, how to use the system, how to find the low-hanging fruit physicians that are out there. There are so many things that goes outside of your 2 to 2.5 weeks of training here with American Business Systems that go far beyond what you could ever think or ask for as you kind of go through here. So again, we're trying to set you up as the expert. Now, part of the setting up that as the expert here, again, started with that book, right? Remember, we're going to put your name on the book. We're going to have you help you write that first forward to that book. And then whenever that goes to print, it's going to be shipped to you, and you're going to be able to utilize that. So that's part of setting you up as an expert, but the other part is this education. Plus, we're going to also have advice for marketing to doctors from our in-house physician advisor. Now, you heard of Adam setting up this organization called MIRMA, okay? That is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, all right? But on that board of directors is a doctor. Her name is Dr. Vicki Rackner. Now, Dr. Rackner, I've interviewed a couple of times. If you haven't met her yet, you can go on our website. You can go find Dr. Vicki Rackner and see some of the webinars that I've done with her. She's the one that co-write the book with Adam, 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Stoop to Their Fingers. Now, one important part that she can do here is actually do some introductory letters to some doctors that you've identified that you might like Dr. Rackner to write a letter to. So she would actually introduce many times. When I've interviewed her on the webinars, she has said, doctors listen to other doctors. And so whenever you get a referral letter from one doctor to another doctor introducing you, that's what you want to do. So that's part of becoming that expert there. That's part of what's on that list there whenever you download that documentation. We'll also provide you a lifetime of access to our exclusive support portal. Again, that is so chock full of additional information. That is not those live Friday webinars, but it's those that maybe you've missed, or there's been some other things. That we have an entire website that is for our business owners only. It's our licensee support site. We used to call all of our business owners licensees because that's really what you're becoming here. It is a license to learn the information and then also to utilize all the equipment and the software that we have here. But that's all on here, so you'll have access to that 24/7. But you can also communicate through support, even sometimes after hours, if you need to. At least you can communicate them via email through this portal. You can see that number that's up there in the right-hand corner. It's the same number that you call here for support. For that you're working with your sales rep here. It's just a different number to get in touch with them. Now, I wouldn't recommend you trying to call support because they're going to check you out to make sure that you're a business owner. If not, they're going to say, well, sorry, I'm going to route you back to your sales rep. So don't waste their time because there are people out there that are trying to get some help from support. We wouldn't want those lines to be all chalked up there. And again, ongoing education services, as well as being a part of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. So this is what it means to become an expert, because MIRMA.org is out there. So whenever doctors are going, well, have you been certified? Or are you a certified medical biller? You can say, I'm a certified medical revenue manager is what I am. And I got my certification from an organization called MIRMA. You can go check them out. It's MRMAA.org. Go check them out, doctor. Many times the doctors do that. But listen, just knowing that you can give that as a credential, most doctors aren't looking for that. They're not going to go check you out over there. But if they do, they'll check you out and know that you're a part of that organization there. So that's number 2. So remember, we're trying to get you to have that part of expertise. We're going to teach you how to become that expert. And before I move to number 3, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We're almost at the bottom of the hour, if you can believe this. And I want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions here. Typically, as I kind of go through a webinar like this, hopefully I'm answering a lot of questions that you may already have. But if you feel like you've got a question, you want to throw it up there in the Q&A box, whether it's for that particular topic or not, I'll be able to look at it. I'll stop whenever I need to and help answer that question. All right, let's move on to number 3. We want you to stand out of the crowd. That's our biggest thing. There are a lot of people out there who say they do medical billing. I've heard it said on webinars. I've heard it asked during webinars. Gosh, I've done a Google search. It seems like in my hometown, there's 3 or 4, I'm exaggerating, 100 medical billing companies in town. And there's never 100 medical billing companies in town. There are a lot of people who kind of come and go. But folks, remember, your territory goes beyond your city limits, your town, your city, metroplex area, even out here of the DFW area, to kind of just let those that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've lived up here for now 17 years. A couple of those years, I've owned my own medical billing company. My first client never even came out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It came out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. So, folks, what we're going to try to do, once we've understood that you've gained that expertise, we've kind of set you up. Now you're a certified medical revenue manager. You're part of a book that has a lot of credibility because it's written by Dr. Rackner and our former the former person here at American Business System, Patrick Phillips, the former founder. That's what I was trying to say. Wrote the book on the new thriving medical practice. You're already coming with some credibility there. We're going to get you through training. We're going to make sure that you know more than what the doctors know about. Now we need to separate you from everybody else out there. What makes you different? Because again, if you don't have any differentiations out there, then you can't go shake up the market. Now, one of the things that we have here with all of our different services, hopefully you've had the time to go through all the different services like CodeWrite or Audit Guard or Compliancy Guard or iClaim and EMRX, to say just a few of those. What we have is what we've collaborated, what we feel like the best in class, award-winning cloud-based software systems that truly distinctively have features that go beyond what you would think of as the most majority of medical billing platforms or support systems out there for a revenue cycle management company. Now, one of the things that we're going to have be able to help you with is we can demonstrate those softwares for you on your behalf. You don't even have to learn those. We're going to do it for you. We're going to get on a Zoom call with your potential doctor. We'll kind of walk them through what our services look like. We'll walk them through what our software looks like. Now, a lot of questions might come up. Well, do the doctors have to use iClaim or ERMax for me to gain that particular client? And the answer is no. We know that could be, that's just that could be a game changer. And a lot of doctors may say, well, no, if I've got to go with your particular services, I'm not ready to make that change at this time. That's no big deal. There's so many other ancillary services that we're going to be able to put in place to help that doctor, help you be able to recover as much revenue as possible. We also have tailored professional marketing materials, both in print and digital, for you to be able to use. Now, obviously, a website that's going to already come prepared for you. It's some templated websites. Obviously, there's some things we're going to change with your particular company name, but you won't have to go searching and hunting and try to create all that material or collateral, as I would say, out of thin air. We've got all of that ready for you. Because partly what we want to do is, you can already see, having that book, The New Thriving Medical Practice, that's going to put you standing outside the crowd already. You would rarely ever find an owner of a medical billing company that has a book that can help doctors educate themselves before they even start. Now, they'll tell them all the things that they can do, but to really have some educational information, I don't know. Now, one of the things that is pretty impressive that I found out from Heather, I think that was her name, that when we interviewed her the other day, she's actually doing, I don't know if it's weekly or monthly podcasting. You know, some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, you just said something that freaking me out here. Don't worry about it. That's not one of the things that we necessarily teach, but that's one of the things that we help promote, is ways that get you to stand out from everybody else. Now, she's out there, she's learned it herself. She's learned everything that she's learned from us, and just putting it out there on the internet. She created her little sphere of world, and she's getting clients. And little folks, literally, you're going to need to go back and listen to that interview with Heather. They're doing 7-figure billing clients, so they're knocking it down out there. And they're owners. They've got staff. They're not the ones having to do it, but they are doing extremely well. So, talking about standing outside of the crowd, I'm going to tell you, there's probably not a handful of medical billing companies throughout the United States that do podcasting. Now, we're going to show you how to set yourself up with your website. We're going to show you how to set yourself up through LinkedIn. There's some other kind of a sales magnet type of procedures that we're going to teach you and kind of help you walk through. But again, you're going to have all the material that you're going to need to have. Again, you're going to have a designated website that you're going to be able to put together. So all of this is included, again, for your, as you kind of get some things started here. All right. We've just wrapped up number 3. So that's kind of the stand out of the crowd. If there's any questions here, it's a good time to shoot those questions over. If not, I'm going to tell you one great way of helping yourself not feel like you're having to sell anything to anybody, and that is harnessing the power of referrals. Now, how do you do that? Well, one of the things that you need to make sure, and I remember interviewing Heather again a couple of weeks ago, and I asked her, I said, how well are you at creating and making referrals? She goes, Eric, that's the biggest thing that we do, and that's how we get our referral doctor partnerships. You know, folks, getting out there and letting people know that you're in business is the most important thing for you to do. I'm going to give you an example here. I live in a small little community northwest of Fort Worth, and in this little community, there's finally some shops that are showing up. There's a new sandwich shop that's locally. If I said their names, you would get it. But there's a new little ice cream slash donut sweets and type of thing, and it's got its own name. I don't want to promote either one of them here, but I can tell you that the one that's most recognizable is the Sandwich Shop, and that's a brand new. And they're side by side. I see more cars at that place than I do at the other place because nobody's really heard of that place. Now, one of the things that place is starting to do now is letting the community know who they are. So it's like opening up anything else. If people just don't know who you are and what you're about, you're not going to have anybody come knocking on your door or enter into your door through a retail marketplace or through a service marketplace that this way is. So just like in any business, whether you're a sandwich shop or this place to get desserts from, both of these places need to let the community know that, number one, they're open, that they're around, here are their hours, this is what they serve, how about some samples, blah, 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 and how do you do that best than just meeting your community? And that's one of the things that we feel like networking is the strongest way for you to get your referrals, because out of that, you're going to meet other people who are doing business with, guess what, doctors. What I would recommend, if you're looking at doing this, one of the best ways to start thinking about it now is actually attending a local chamber of commerce or find a business networking international group that's BNI, something along those lines that you can go to right now and just start polling. Just say, you know what, call up your local chamber of commerce where you might live. I think Eric, you said you lived in the Dallas area, or Stan lives in the Dallas area. Folks, I'm going to tell you, in a metropolitan area like this, there are literally, you can throw a rock and find a chamber of commerce. They probably have meetings, after hour business type of meetings, and some of them probably have luncheons on a monthly basis. Call them up and say, hey, I'm going to be a new business owner in town. I'd like to come check out what you guys do. Can I come to one of your luncheons? Can I come? And then while you got them on the phone, poll them. Just say, do you happen to have any medical billing businesses that are associated with your organization? And even if they do, don't let that frighten you, okay? But then your next question you should ask is, do you have anybody within the healthcare community within your organizations? Well, you're going to find hospitals, you're going to find doctors' offices, dentist offices, chiropractors, social workers. Some of these I'm talking about, these are the low-hanging fruit, mental health organizations, home health agencies, facilities like skilled nursing facilities, nursing homes as we probably know them, rehabilitation centers. Those people always are in these networking groups, and they know doctors. And guess what you're going to want to do? You want to get a hold of them and start to develop some partnerships, some strategic partnerships, that you begin to have a steady flow of referrals. And we're going to teach you how to do that, because we know that if you're able to get advised by somebody else, folks, you're in on it. So when we're going to teach you how networking is still the number one method for our folks here to get their first clients. We're going to walk you through all of that, and we're going to help you connect with other businesses, even outside of your sphere of these markets here. That's one of the things that Heather has done through her podcasting, or doing her own webinars, or doing whatever she's doing out there. A lot of other people are picking up on that bandwagon, and you might as well get it. That's where you kind of chiseling out the gold through the gold mine. That's where a lot of people are hanging out. They're hanging out at places like Facebook or LinkedIn. We're going to show you and help you how to strategically strategize yourself in those areas. Because when you're out networking, you can say, go to my website. Here's my Facebook page. Here's my LinkedIn pages. Oh, and by the way, here's an actual book of mine that I've written the forward to. If you know of any doctor that might like a copy of this because they're struggling with their revenue cycle management, I'd love to figure out a way to get this book into their hands. All right, so what you've just heard now is a spiel of what you're going to learn during training of how to get in touch and get in front of other doctors so that you get your first client. And folks, let me tell you, I just got an email from Adam just this last week that we had a brand new a fairly within when I call brand new, I'm talking within the last 6 to 8 months. Someone that just joined us, and they're already doing 6 figures worth of billing. Folks, this is incredible. We get to interview him in February. I'm looking forward to that interview process. So that's going to be a cool one to be a part of. So it can be done as long as you follow the strategies that we've had here at American Business Systems. Okay, any other questions? Feel free to type those in there. The last thing I'm going to go through is, now that you've set yourself as the expert, you got people who know, like, and trust you. You've divvied out your book to some people. You've gone to some of these referral networking events. You got some actual referrals coming in. Now you need to nurture those contacts. So we're going to show you some of the best practices of how to nurture those contacts as they start coming in. I'm going to give you a real live example with this next slide here, and that is this service that we have, AutoCard. One of the first things that Patrick and I ever did whenever I first came on here, I said, Patrick, we have got to test and make sure that all of our stuff's working. We hear it from our business owners out there, but let's you and I test it. So we did. So we struck out. We created a little medical billing company here, not to compete with anybody, but just to kind of make sure everything was working properly. I did some networking. I got some doctors interested. We actually went and met with a doctor. The doctor says, I'm debating between you and another medical billing business. I'm probably going to go with them because they're a little bit cheaper than you are. I didn't budge. And I knew I didn't want to budge. But what we did next got us the client. I put this doctor on an AutoCard program where they were actually getting physical cards in the mail, these postcards in the mail, and it just simply says, it was good to talk with you. Remember about Compliancy Guard. If you ever need HIPAA, you've got a HIPAA issue, we're here. Now, I didn't have to write those out. These are automatic. We actually have programs and templated strategy templates for those to go out at certain times. So it's like automatic. It's the small drip campaign. Well, it took about 4 to 6 weeks. I get a call back from the office manager and say, you know what? They just fired the other medical billing company. Are you still available, and would you like to be able to meet with the doctor? We said, absolutely. So folks, we know our strategies work. They may not work the first time around, but we know what to do to keep ourselves as top of the mind just in case something does happen. And that's what this AutoCard process is going to be able to do for you to help you land that first one. Now, as we kind of start winding up here, I want you to know that there is truly a common thread through everything, and that is through every stage of what you're going through here as a brand new business owner with American Business Systems is that we're here to help you get to that next level and get you a lifetime resource and beyond. And that is to help you get your first client. So what we want you to know here, we are here to help you win, not just sell you a business opportunity. Because folks, part of all of what you've heard me say about all of our different services is that as you probably already have learned already, there's a one-time fee here with us, and I'll share what that cost is here in just a moment. But there are no franchise fees. There's no royalty fees. So you wonder, now, how does ABS keep making money? We make money on the back end when some of the products that we've showcased already today, whenever those products are used, whether it's iClaim, EMRX, HIPAA Compliancy, AutoCard, any of those other services, we actually get paid directly from those partnerships, directly from them, because we get a little bit of override because their systems are being used. That's what supports us on our back end to keep supporting you without asking you for franchise fees or royalty fees. That means that when you're doing your billing for your doctor, you're collecting 100% of that money and you're keeping 100% of that money. You only pay American Business Systems a one-time fee. And again, I'll kind of go through that. That's how we want you to win. We know that when you win, we win. Just like whenever you help the doctor collect more money, you make more money. Okay, so that's what this whole process is and how we help you here. So that's a little bit of the 5 secrets of medical billing. I do have one question that's come in from Barahi. I'm not a sales guy. How do I get the clients without me being involved? Well, you can always hire a sales rep. You can hire someone to be able to do that. Now, I want to share this with you. I understand that you say that you're not a sales guy, but are you a CEO of your medical billing company? Yes. That doesn't mean you're the sales guy. You're the owner talking about your business. So I'm not asking you to be the sales rep of your company. What I'm asking you to be is an explainer of who you are and what your company's about. Because if they don't trust you, Barai, they may not end up doing business with it, because this is a relationship transactional business. You're doing business for a doctor whose livelihood depends extremely on you. It's like, whenever I have gotten a mortgage for my home, I'm going to my bank because guess what? I already have a relationship with those folks, and financially, they're going to make sure that they keep my interest up where it needs to be. This is that same type of relationship with doctors. They want you to know who they are. You're going to want to know who they are, and so vice versa here. So I'm taking you through those 5 secrets now. That there is more that's packed in that document. So I showed you where to get that. Now, as I kind of start wrapping up here, I'm going to take about 5 minutes here. And Barai, if I answered your question, please let me know. If not, I can help explain it to you a little bit more as we go through there. But you can hire sales reps. You can hire pharmaceutical sales reps. It's just going to eat into your profit a little bit in the beginning. But as you start to build your business, obviously you're going to want to be engaged with that doctor on a more personal level. All right. So Adam wrote an article last week, and it was why start a medical billing business before the end of 2025. If you'll see there, you can see it's absystems.com/blog, and you can see all of that there. Okay, you don't have to type all that in. Just go to our blog on our website. You can find that there. But here are a few of that, what he talks about there. So he basically says, as 2025 winds down, most people are thinking about vacations, holidays, New Year's resolutions. But as an aspiring entrepreneur, especially those interested in the healthcare industry, the final months of the year might just be the best time to start a business. If you consider launching a medical billing or revenue cycle management company, here's why starting your business before January the 1st can be a powerful head start. Number one is you can take advantages of all the 2025 tax deductions, okay? You don't have to wait until the end. If you wait until after 2026, then you won't be able to take any of those deductions until 2020 in the tax year of 2027 for 2026. So this is a good position for you to be thinking about it. Now, we're not sharing this to rush you through, folks. We know there's about 6 weeks left here of 2025. The other thing that he writes in his article is avoid the January rush. January brings a surge of new business filings, whether it's state registrations, bank account approvals, software onboarding, vendors' responses. December starts mean that you're operational while competitors are still handling paperwork. So you can read a little bit more about that. And the last thing I'm going to share with you is that you can start aligning with 2026 healthcare trends. Now, I'm going to tell you this because I know this for a fact. I know a lot of doctors are trying to figure out what are they going to do going into 2026 and how they can avoid the issues that they've had in 2025. Now is a great time to start engaging with these doctors and help them coach themselves on trying to figure out where they were shorted, maybe some reimbursement challenges that they've had in 2025, and get them ready to start on a new financial strategy going into 2026. Okay, Connie is asking a question here. Given the recent federal medical insurance increase, what impact is there, or do you expect there will be to medical billing and revenue? Connie, I've been around everything from whenever doctors were all needing to go to electronic medical records, to the Affordable Care Act days, to the point where it looked like we might try to go to a single payer. The increases are not going to affect medical billing, and I'm going to tell you why. Because It used to be 10,000, but it's now up to 15 and closing in on 20,000 Medicare patients per day. These are people that are turning 65 just about every day. Regardless of the cost, medical billing has to happen for Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans. Okay, just get that. And for most doctors, Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans are anywhere from 60 to 70% of their business. Just let that sink in a little bit. This means that the government is paying for their health care. So Connie, with those numbers there, we can clearly see in the future that their medical billing as we know it as of today is not going away. It's just not going away. So I'm going to wrap up a couple of things here. Barahi says, thank you for answering my question. Yes, I can hire sales rep. How much will that cost? Can you help me with that? That's a question. Barahi, get back with your sales rep that you're working with here. They've got the numbers and they've got people that have actually used sales reps. So if you don't mind getting back with your sales rep. And Connie says, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Here's something that you do need to know. As we are closing out 2025, going into 2026, our investment here is going up from $30,000 to $35,000. That's another reason why it might behoove you to get started as quickly as before the end of the year. Now, I do understand from Adam and his group that there's some arrangements that can be made going in from 2025 to 2026 to kind of lock in the $30,000 price. So you're going to want to get with your sales rep there.